The Galactic Alliance had met many strange species before, but humans were unlike anyone they'd ever seen. The first reports were confusing. On one hand, humans showed amazing kindness, bravery, and creativity. On the other, their history was filled with wars, revolutions, dangerous sports, risky adventures, and survival against impossible odds. The Council couldn't agree. Some wanted to welcome Earth, impressed by how adaptable and curious humans were. Others were worried, pointing out that any species that made scary movies for fun and jumped off cliffs with parachutes might be a little dangerous. So the Council decided to set a test. They called it the Fear Trial. The setup was simple. An apex predator, engineered for the simulation, would be released into an arena. Delegates from candidate species were instructed to survive for 1 hour using their natural instincts and cooperation. The arena had forests, rocks, water, and shelters. Cameras were installed in every corner. The predator was huge, scaled, and fast, designed to evoke terror across multiple biologies. The first trials went as expected. The gentle trivens folded into their shells, trembling. The swift thalxi scattered, hiding under rocks and inside trees. The hyper-intelligent Olari huddled in a group, crafting a barricade from nearby debris. And then the humans arrived. Elliot Carter adjusted his combat boots and scanned the arena's edge. His team, Anna Gomez and Brandon Hill, were unloading from the transport beside him. Anna stretched her arms, bouncing lightly on her toes. "This is supposed to be a survival test, right?" "Yeah," Brandon said, already smirking. "Avoid the big ugly thing, hide, and last an hour." Elliot squinted at the distant tree line, where the creature's shape flickered between shadows. "Sure," he said, shouldering his backpack. "Or we win." The alien observers clustered in the council box, murmuring through translators as they watched the humans spread out with surprising calm. Elliot motioned to the others. "Anna, noisemaker. Brandon, left flank. I'll draw it." Brandon laughed. "Draw it?" "Elliot, they said avoid." "Which is why it won't expect us to come to it," Elliot grinned. The creature emerged, 8 feet tall, armored hide, claws like hooked swords. Its mouth split in 4 directions when it roared. Anna's eyes went wide. "That's awesome." "Get moving," Elliot yelled. The aliens watched in open-mouthed astonishment as Anna sprinted forward, whistling and clapping her hands to get the creature's attention. She darted between trees, tossing rocks and shouting. Brandon circled wide, picking up a long stick and testing its weight like a baseball bat. Elliot knelt, pulling a homemade slingshot from his pack, along with a pouch of steel ball bearings. The apex predator lunged at Anna, jaws snapping. At the last moment, she dodged, sending it skidding into a boulder. Brandon appeared from the left, swinging the stick into the beast's flank with a satisfying thwack. The monster shrieked, twisting to face him. From 50 feet away, Elliot let fly with the slingshot. The ball bearing pinged off the creature's eye ridge. "Oh yeah!" Elliot whooped, loading another shot. In the council box, the delegates erupted in disbelief. "They are provoking it," hissed a Velkan observer. "They are coordinating attacks," said an Olari, voice awed. "Come in," laughing murmured a Trevan. Down in the arena, the humans kept moving. Anna vaulted over a fallen log, laughing breathlessly as the creature barreled after her. Brandon hurled another stick, narrowly missing its head. Elliot crouched behind a tree, popping off precise shots that rattled against its armored body. At one point, the beast cornered Anna against a rocky outcrop. Anna kicked off the wall, scrambling up the boulder face as the predator lunged. From above, Brandon hurled a chunk of stone, catching it behind the skull. Elliot followed with a rapid barrage of slingshot fire. The beast shrieked and spun, swiping wildly. Anna leapt down, rolled, and shouted, "Time for phase 2!" Elliot signaled. Brandon darted left. Anna went right, and Elliot sprinted straight at the creature, a wild grin splitting his face. In the viewing chamber, a hush fell. Why would they run toward it? whispered a council member. I think they are trying to overwhelm it, said another, watching with fascination. Elliot juked left at the last second, sliding under the creature's lunge. He shoved his last handful of ball bearings into its gaping mouth as he passed. Anna and Brandon were already in motion, each grabbing a heavy branch. As the beast staggered, gagging, they struck together, slamming the branches into its flanks. The monster stumbled. Earth collapsed. For a moment, the arena was silent. Then, Elliot, panting, raised both fists in the air. Boom! Brandon yelled, slapping Anna's hand. Anna doubled over, laughing. That was insane. In the observation box, the council fell into chaotic argument. Bateman ignored all instructions. They exhibited lethal-level aggression. They demonstrated unmatched teamwork, murmured the Olari. Elliot looked up at the cameras, hands on his hips, grin wide. We're going to need a bigger challenge next time. The timer blinked out. The humans had passed the fear trial, just not in any way the galaxy expected. The debrief room was too quiet for Elliot's liking. He lounged in the oversized alien chair, legs sprawled out, tapping his fingers against the armrest. Across from him, Anna balanced a water bottle on her forehead, eyes half-lidded in boredom, while Brandon sprawled sideways over two chairs, a grin plastered on his face. The council had summoned them immediately after the trial. Now they sat in a glass-walled chamber, being studied like exotic insects. Do you think we broke it? Anna asked, glancing toward the observation window. Oh, we definitely broke it, Brandon snickered. They wanted hide-and-seek. We gave them rugby. Elliot smirked, sitting up as the door hissed open. A delegation of aliens entered, shimmering with nervous energy. The Olari ambassador, all fluid grace and glowing bioluminescence, floated forward. Beside him, the Velkan diplomat's scales clicked faintly, and the Trivan rolled forward in its armored shell, eyes wide and unblinking. We wish to understand, the Olari began carefully. Why did you not follow the primary directive to avoid engagement? Elliot rubbed the back of his neck. Look, no offense, but that thing was designed to be unbeatable, right? The Velkan gave a sharp nod. So, running just delays the inevitable. But going at it together, that gives us a shot. Anna leaned forward, eyes bright. And, if you're going to get chased by a monster, why not have fun with it? Brandon laughed. You should have seen its face when Elliot pelted it with ball bearings. The Triban ambassador muttered something in its native language, and the translator clicked. You laughed. In the face of imminent death? We weren't laughing at death, Elliot corrected. We were laughing at how ridiculous the whole situation was. The room fell silent. In the control chamber above, senior counselors debated heatedly. They are dangerous, one Velkan hissed. Unpredictable. They are resilient, murmured the Olari leader. Unorthodox and fearless. Outside the arena, the news had already spread. Video footage of the humans charging the apex predator had gone viral across half the known galaxy. Commentators debated their sanity. Scientists marveled at their reaction patterns. Civilians mostly just watched the replays and cheered. By the following day, the humans were summoned again. Not to be reprimanded, but to demonstrate. The council wanted a live session, a cooperative workshop, with humans paired alongside other species to test fear responses in mixed teams. Elliot arched an eyebrow when they heard. You want us to teach monster hunting? Anna clapped her hands. Oh, this is going to be fun. Brendan just grinned. Get ready, Galaxy. The next round brought teams into the arena, each with one human. Elliot was assigned to the Olari team, who hovered anxiously. Anna was paired with the Thalxi, a swift reptilian species that trembled at loud noises. Brandon joined the Velkan, much to their obvious horror. When the simulation began, chaos erupted. The Olari darted for cover, the Thalxi froze mid-sprint, and the Velkan hissed in confusion. Elliot crouched beside his Olari companions. Breathe, focus, watch for its flank. Anna jumped in front of the Thalxi, stomping her feet and yelling, "Come on, dance with me!" The startled Thalxi twitched, then darted to safety. Brandon, meanwhile, gave the Velkin his signature grin. "Stick with me, lizards. We're going to annoy it to death." He picked up 2 sticks and began banging them together like drumsticks. Within minutes, the aliens were moving, not to flee, but to help. Under human direction, the Olari distracted the creature with flashes of bioluminescence. The Thalzi zipped between obstacles, confusing its tracking systems. The Velkin launched coordinated charges, driving it back. In the control room, the council stared in disbelief. "They are rewiring the responses of the other species," an Olari counselor murmured. "They are spreading recklessness like a contagion," the Velkin leader growled. But the Trivon observer, normally the most cautious, made a soft, surprised noise. "Not recklessness," it said thoughtfully. "Courage." By the end of the session, the arena floor was littered with improvised traps, redirected boulders, and one extremely disgruntled apex predator, pacing in circles while humans and aliens high-fived and chattered around it. That evening, the council chamber was packed. The humans were called forward, standing side by side in the glow of the assembly lights. Elliot glanced at Anna and Brandon, both grinning. The Olari ambassador spoke first. "You have demonstrated adaptability, cooperation under extreme stress," the Velkin leader added grudgingly, "and an unsettling enthusiasm for danger." The Trivan, with a soft smile, said simply, "You make the impossible feel possible." Elliot exhaled slowly. Hannah shot him a wink. Brandon folded his arms, still smirking. The chamber fell quiet. "Humanity," the counselor declared, "you have passed the fear trial. Welcome to the Galactic Alliance." As cheers erupted across the chamber, Elliot felt a hand slap his back. "Told you we'd win," Brandon murmured. Anna leaned in, eyes bright. "Who's ready for Phase 2? Elliot laughed. "Let's hope it involves snacks and not more monsters." The galaxy had feared humanity's wild heart. But now they understood, and they wanted them on their side. 3 days after the humans were accepted into the Galactic Alliance, the station was still buzzing. Elliot, Anna, and Brandon couldn't walk through the halls without being stopped. Velkin warriors wanted to shake their hands, though their claws made that tricky. Olari scholars wanted to ask questions, recording every word with glowing data orbs. Even the timid Trivan had taken to following them around, watching with wide eyes and scribbling notes. "This is insane," Anna whispered as they shuffled through a crowd of excited onlookers. Elliot grinned. "I think we accidentally started a fan club." Brandon leaned back casually against a corridor wall. "Fan club? We started a movement." Word had spread across dozens of worlds. Alien citizens who had once viewed the humans as chaotic anomalies were now fascinated by them. Videos from the trials played non-stop on news feeds. Merchants sold miniature replicas of the apex predator, human action figures, even holographic replays of Anna stomping her feet at the monster or Elliot's slingshot assault. But the council had bigger plans. They approached Elliot the next morning. "We need you," the Olari ambassador said carefully, "to help train integrated defense units." Elliot raised an eyebrow. "You want us to teach other species to fight monsters?" "Not just monsters," the ambassador clarified, "but to face their own fears." Anna burst into laughter when she heard the plan. "Brandon, we're officially certified chaos coaches." Brandon rubbed his hands together. "Let's get to work." The first training session was held in the Alliance's largest simulation chamber, an enormous dome that could project any environment. Inside waited a mixed group: Thalsi, Velkin, Olari, Trivan, and even a few shy Aralith who normally avoided all contact. Elliot clapped his hands. "All right, team, here's the deal." He paced the floor as Anna and Brandon handed out small, harmless practice weapons. "Today, you're going to stop running." Murmurs rippled through the group. "You're going to learn how to stand your ground," Elliot continued, "and maybe, just maybe, how to laugh while you do it. The simulation activated. A virtual predator materialized, its heavy footsteps shaking the floor. Across the room, the aliens stiffened. Allah grinned. Let's dance. The next hour was glorious mayhem. Anna led charge drills with the thalci, teaching them how to dart in, tap the creature, and retreat before it could react. Brandon helped the Velkan build simple shields and practice flank maneuvers. Elliot worked with the Olari and Trivan, showing them how to use environmental cover to distract and confuse the beast. By the end, the simulation room was filled with panting, exhilarated aliens, most of whom had never willingly faced danger before. The apex predator flickered and vanished, replaced by a triumphant chime. The Olari ambassador appeared on the observation deck above, voice amplified through the dome. Congratulations, you have all completed Phase 1. Elliot shaded his eyes, looking up at the ambassador. Phase 2, huh? Phase 2, the ambassador confirmed, will be conducted on a planetary surface. That night, Elliot and his team gathered in the observation lounge, watching the stars glitter beyond the windows. Anna sat cross-legged on the couch, munching on alien snack puffs. Did you ever think we'd go from punching monsters to running galactic boot camps? Elliot stretched his arms over the back of the couch. Honestly, no. Brandon raised a glass. To the galaxy's weirdest promotion. The following week brought the real challenge. The planet chosen for the exercise was called Varthos, a lush mountainous world with dense jungles and winding canyons. The human-led teams were dropped in by shuttle, their goal simple: navigate to the extraction point without losing anyone, all while avoiding simulated threats. Elliot led the Olari and Trivan unit. Anna ran with the Thalci and Aura. Brandon, who had gleefully volunteered, was assigned the Velka. The exercise began. Elliot guided his group through narrow passes, encouraging the Olari to use their glow to light the path and the Trivan to roll ahead and scout. When a simulated beast burst from the undergrowth, the team didn't scatter. They fell into formation, drawing it away from their most vulnerable members. Miles away, Anna and the Thalci zipped through the trees, turning the chase into a game. Anna's laughter echoed through the forest as she taught them to outmaneuver the predator and then lure it into traps. Brandon, meanwhile, was a force of nature. He bellowed instructions, waved his arms wildly, and ran straight at every simulated monster, the Velkan roaring at his heels. By the time they reached the extraction point, they were practically singing war songs. When the teams finally reunited at the base camp, the council was waiting. The ambassadors watched as mixed species groups exchanged high fives, glowing nods, and gentle claps on the back. You have, the Olari ambassador said slowly, changed us. Elliot wiped sweat from his brow, glancing at Anna and Brandon. You mean we made you reckless? The Velkan leader surprised everyone by stepping forward. No, he rumbled. You made us brave. For the first time, the humans saw the galaxy not as a strange, overwhelming place, but as something they belonged to. The council formalized it that night. Earth was no longer just a candidate. Humanity was an ally. And the apex predator of the galaxy? It wasn't claws or teeth or fangs. It was fear. And humans, strange as they were, had taught the universe how to face it head-on. The sky over Varthos shimmered with the light of 2 moons as the last shuttle rose, carrying council dignitaries back to the station. Elliot stood near a campfire at the temporary base, watching the mixed teams of humans and aliens sprawl in the grass, trading snacks and stories. Anna sat cross-legged beside a Thalci warrior, showing it how to juggle stones. Brandon was in the middle of an impromptu arm wrestling contest with 3 Velkan, grinning as his elbow trembled under their combined strength. Elliot breathed in deeply, the cool night air laced with the earthy scent of alien foliage. He felt a kind of peace he hadn't known before. Across the clearing, the Olari ambassador approached, His bioluminescent patterns pulsed softly, casting shifting shadows across the ground. "Elliot Carter," the ambassador greeted, folding his elegant limbs in a bow. "We have come to a decision." Elliot raised an eyebrow. "Yeah?" "You and your team have surpassed our expectations," the ambassador said, "not only in the fear trial, but in what came after. You transformed survival drills into camaraderie. You turned panic into play. You turned competitors into friends." Elliot smiled faintly, rubbing the back of his neck. "It wasn't just us. They stepped up." The ambassador tilted his head, light rippling along his translucent skin. "Perhaps, but you gave them permission to try." A hush spread through the camp as the Velkin leader and the Trivan delegate joined the circle. "Humans," the Velkin rumbled, "are now full members of the Alliance." A cheer erupted. Anna threw her arms in the air, laughing. Brandon let out a whoop loud enough to make the Thalsi nearest him flinch in surprise before they broke into delighted chittering. Even the normally reserved Olari warriors joined in, their glow patterns dancing like fireworks. That night became a celebration no one would forget. The humans introduced marshmallow roasting over the campfire, though the marshmallows had to be adapted from local starch and were slightly salty. The Velcom brought out their fermented root liquor, which made Brandon cough and Anna wince but left Elliot grinning after a cautious sip. The Thalxi performed a spiraling dance that left everyone dizzy but laughing. As the night wore on, Elliot found himself sitting on a rock at the edge of the clearing, staring up at the stars. Anna plopped down beside him with a tired smile, her hair full of stray bits of leaf and ash. "Well, we did it," she murmured. "Yeah," Elliot said softly, leaning back on his hands. "We did." Brandon wandered over, dropping onto the grass with a thud. "Think they'll let us go home now?" Elliot chuckled. "I think home might look a little bigger now." The three of them sat in companionable silence as the camp quieted, watching their new allies settle down. Across the fire, a Velkin warrior gently draped a blanket over a dozing Trivan. Miv, the Aralith they'd coached in the training session, pulsed a soft yellow glow as it curled near the warmth of the flames. Elliot let his head tip back, eyes tracing constellations unfamiliar to Earth's sky. He wondered how long it would be before humans spread among those stars, not as invaders or conquerors, but as teammates. The next morning, the council gathered one last time before the humans' departure. The Olari ambassador handed Elliot a polished crystal, embedded with delicate swirling lights. "This," the ambassador said, "is a symbol of trust. It will open doors for your people across Alliance space." Elliot took it carefully, feeling its weight in his hand. "Thank you." Anna and Brandon stepped up beside him, flanking him on either side. Brandon gave his usual irreverent grin. "So, when's the next monster fight?" The Velkan leader laughed, a deep rumble that vibrated the ground. "You will be the first we call." As the shuttle doors closed behind them, Elliot took a long look back at the camp, the new friends they had made, and the world they were leaving behind. Anna nudged his shoulder. "Don't get sentimental on us, Captain." Elliot smiled. "Not sentimental, just grateful." The ride back to the station was quiet, the kind of quiet that comes after exhaustion and triumph, and the sense that something important has changed. When the shuttle docked, the three humans stepped into a crowd of cheering Alliance members. Reporters flashed lights, council members waited with open arms, and somewhere in the mix, someone had printed a banner that read, "Welcome, Earth." As they crossed the threshold, Elliot felt a wave of something powerful roll through him. Not pride, belonging. Hours later, alone in his quarters, Elliot set the crystal on his desk, watching its soft glow pulse. He thought of Earth, of the friends waiting back home, of the stories they would tell. He thought of the next trial, the next adventure, the next horizon. And he smiled. The galaxy had tested human fear, and humans had answered, not with terror, but with laughter, grit, and a wild charge toward the unknown. Elliot leaned back in his chair, hands behind his head, eyes fixed on the stars outside his window. Tomorrow, the real journey would begin. and they were ready.